now the other charts, pie charts, bubble chart, and heat map. So pie charts. Pie charts, I don't want to show how to do it because well, it's easy for you to figure out, to look up how to do it. So there are some disadvantages of the pie charts. For instance, here's a pie chart. Here's a pie chart. Maybe it's probably like a market share. Oh, there it is. Company percentage of the total market share. So here's company B, here's company C, here's company D. Now the problem is, it's obvious that the company B has the largest market share, but it's between the green one and the red one it's a little hard to tell. It looks like company C probably has a larger share. Looks like this slice is a little bit bigger than that one, but it's kind of hard to tell. But if I were to make a bar chart instead of the pie chart, then it's very obvious that the C, which is this one, is definitely has a higher market share than D, which is this one. So if you want to just compare values, it would be better to use a bar chart or a column chart instead of a pie chart. Now this is what is this? This used to be on Wikipedia, but I think somebody took it down. So this is a population of the 50 states in the United States, U.S. states by population. So the problem here is that there's just too many slices, too many slices. So it's hard to tell. There's really thin slices here, so it's hard to figure out this picture. Okay, so you wanna use a pie chart only if you have just a few categories. Another thing sometimes people do is they try to get fancy and then make the chart three-dimensional, and it's especially bad for pie charts. So with a pie chart now, if you kind of rotate it like this, and you get really carried away and say, "Oh, this looks good," and say, "Okay, let's rotate it a little bit more." And what about this one? Ooh, this looks really fancy. But now I can't tell. Wow, there's a really big slice over here. So the blue is really large, and the green one is kind of like teeny tiny in the back. So now it's kind of distorted. So this, even though if here it seems like blue and green are pretty similar, but when you rotate it like that, the slice that's in the front looks much bigger than the slice that's in the back, and so it's just harder to figure out what's going on when you rotate a picture and to make it three-dimensional. Okay, so in general, it depends on who your audience is. So if you're making a presentation to sales reps, then they might like it. Then they might like kind of fancy charts and 3Ds and things like that. If you are making a presentation to somebody more nerdy, maybe, or somebody who's really into kind of data analysis and stuff, things like that, and they are not going to appreciate they're not going to be impressed with 3D charts. But pie charts have certain advantages. So to quickly convey a part-to-whole relationship. So for instance, like over here, so something like this is kind of easy to tell. It usually starts over here. Company B and C together, they really command the majority of the market. And so you know that this part is half, 50%, and the B and C together kind of goes over the 50%. So you know that B and C together are going to have much larger than 50% of the market. So something like that you could quickly tell from looking at a pie chart. Whereas like here, so it's not so obvious. And the bubble chart. And the bubble chart is a kind of fun kind of thing. It's a kind of special enhanced scatter chart. It's an enhanced scatter chart. So remember that the scatter chart, it shows your relationship between two quantitative variables, right? So you have two axes. You have the x horizontal and the vertical axis. Now we want to see a relationship between three quantitative variables. That's where the bubble chart comes in. So you only have two dimensions, but you have three dimensions you want to show. So you got the horizontal axis, vertical axis, and now you could make the dots bigger or smaller depending on the third variable. So you could use the size of the bubble, size of the dot, to represent the third quantitative variable. Okay, it looks something like this. Well, this is from Excel. So it looks something like this. So you have here you have three dimensions here. What is this? This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 countries, and we're counting the billionaires. How many billionaires does each country have? Okay, here we got number of billionaires. So there's the people who are billions of dollars. The billionaires here, and then you have billionaires per 10 million residents. So this is kind of like a rate of billionaires. So you got this here, just simple numbers, and here you're taking this and divide it by the normalized standardizing for the population. And then here you have the per capita income of each country. So these are all kind of related variables, and we want to see the relationship on a chart using a bubble chart. So this is what it's going to have. So let's try doing this one. Let's go billionaires here. This is what we are going to do, and here are the instructions. Okay, so here it's important to pick only the data, only the numbers. Otherwise, it's going to get all confused and give you something weird. So just the numbers. Okay, D2, D7, just the numbers. So that's important. Otherwise, you get something totally off. So just the numbers, and then insert and go over to the same place, right, as in the scatter chart. Now here you could now do a bubble chart. Choose a bubble. So here it is. Here it is. So maybe get rid of the grid lines, and then here let's do billionaires by country, and then here for the axis labels. Okay, let's go axis here, and title, that's vertical. Wait, what happened? Okay, there's that, and then here. Okay, now the question is, which is which? Which is which? Okay, with a scatter chart, when you do scatter chart, first column is the x, horizontal axis. Second column is the vertical axis. That's the y. So it's the same here. So this is the x. That's the horizontal y. And then the third is the diameter, or the size of the bubble. So diameter of the bubble. Well, it's just in the relative diameter, right? Or you could just think of it as bubble size. It's fine. Okay. Bubble size. Okay, so now for this one, we know it's this one, right? So I'm just gonna go type equal, and then just click on this. Click on this title, and then hit return. So I have it automatically here instead of me typing it here. I get the vertical axis, that must be per capita income. So equal to, click on that cell, and then hit enter, and then maybe I want to say somewhere bubble size is a number of billionaires. Okay. So maybe put maybe insert a text box. Bubble number of, okay, something like that. Okay, perfect, bubble size. Okay, now it's also possible to add labels to these. I could actually add these labels by telling Excel, give me the labels from this set of cells. The way with this, okay, let's go over to design, add chart element, and the data labels, and let's say I want it to the right, here. So it gives me some kind of default. What is this? That looks like these numbers, right? The y values, right? These numbers. So maybe I don't want that. I want something else. So then I could always go back, add chart element, and then data labels, and then more data label options. More data label options. And then I go over to this one. This little column chart looking thing, that's your options, label options. Here, label options here. Okay, there it is. Variable cells, and then I could just select the cells I want that have the labels. So I could vary some cells like this, and then I'm gonna unclick the other one. This. Okay. Here now I don't know the Y, so now I have the labels that I want from these cells. And so heat map. So what is the heat map? So heat map, graphical representation of data that uses different shades of color. So we're using colors to give the magnitude of the number. So basically, we're using conditional formatting. Conditional formatting. So let's go over to, let's say this one. Okay. So this one is this is a same store sales. You have here are the store locations, and here you have the month. Here you have the month. So, and here we got some scrot lines, so you guys know about that. But let's talk about heat maps. To create this heat map, all I did was I used the conditional formatting. Take that. So here are the instructions. So first I'm gonna undo this. So we mentioned conditional formatting before, all right? So let's go home tab, conditional formatting, and then I'm gonna clear this, clear rules. I'm gonna clear rules from the entire sheet. So now I could start from scratch. Okay, now I'm gonna just do it over. So now I have all these numbers, and I wanna kind of put some different shadings to indicate the size, magnitude of these numbers. And so select the numbers where I want to apply conditional formatting. Then I go conditional formatting and the color scales, and I just need to choose something. Okay, so let's see. What did I do before? This, I think this is what I did. Blue, white, red, right? So that gives, so higher values get the blue, and the lower values get the red. Okay, so I'm gonna try this one, or like maybe this. Well, okay, let's go with this one. This one. Okay, and so from this, you could tell right away, which numbers are higher than others, which numbers are lower than others. So you could tell here that the Phoenix was doing pretty well, and then it kind of went down. Now it's kind of in the red. So it went from blue to red, and St. Louis actually went from slightly red to slightly blue. So you could see there was an increase there. Okay, and then you could also look at like for each month. Like in January, you could see that Cincinnati, Austin did really well. It's very blue here, and then you have this Cincinnati did not do so well compared to others. So you could by looking at the colors, the shades of the colors, you could tell quickly what's going on. So that's the idea of the heat map. And the cluster versus the stacked column chart. So by stacked column chart, it's just like this. You have two columns stacked on top of each other. So as your stacked column chart. So if you see something, so here you have the sales for north and the south. And north is the blue and the south is red. And from this, what you could see is the total. You could see how the total is changing from month to month because it's stacked. So you could actually see the total in the height of each chart. That is a stacked column chart. And then now the cluster column chart looks more like this. Maybe you want kind of like individual charts. So you have north and the south, and north and the south, and so forth. So then you are looking at the clustered column chart. Sometimes you want to just have separate charts. You have one for north and one for south. Okay, so let's quickly look at this one. This is a stack column chart and a cluster column chart. It's very easy to do. You just select, let's see, A3 through C14. So we select and insert, and then we go over here and you have the first one is a cluster. That's the regular one, and the stack chart is the next one. Okay, so that or that. No, okay.